Now I couldn't sleep because of the mosquitoes, and while sleeping, while sitting down there or just lying down there, then you see this dew begins to just drop.
Yeah,
so the whole place is just wet.
Yeah.
So I couldn't sleep because the thing would fall on me. Now I began to feel cold. My whole body began to freeze. I had to. The only way to stay warm was to exercise. So I began to, like, you know, just to kind of exercise, knee jogs. And the first night was tough because I tried to reach my dad, but still nothing, no message. Wisconsin is very close to KFC. Very, just a stone's throw from KFC, Hatcho, KFC. If you go to KFC, you see some kind of benches over there.
Okay.
Yeah. So my first night, that's what I did.
That's where you slept.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's speak it from this angle. When you got out from Wisconsin, I mean, you were sleeping in one of the classrooms for a while. What was the next phase? What happened next?
So, during that period of staying at Wisconsin with him, one of the days, we didn't know that the chief security was having an eye on me. So sometimes he would see the both of us come out of the classrooms like, who is that guy?
Okay.
So I mean, I saw him the first time, but he didn't say anything. So I think after about 2 or 3 days of making eye contact, he decided to call the guy. So one morning he called the guy, and who's the guy? And is he staying with you? And the guy explained to him what was going on. The man said, no, this is not acceptable here. You can't do that. I had to leave. So the guy came back with a sad face and told me, like, I'm sorry, man. But he was willing to help me. I mean, he would buy food, probably Indomie or something, and we'll all share.
I'm sure you still remember him.
I do.
To give him a token sometimes.
I do. But sometimes I don't see him around, but he's into different jobs now. Yeah. So he gives me stuff, but he came back with a sad face and said, man, I'm sorry. That's the chief security who just, told me to ask you to leave. It's like, what? Like, God, what have I done? I thought maybe I could stay here for a while, then my dad would call. So I had to turn on. So this was like a mindset. So when this happens, it just toughens my mindset. Just have to switch on the game on. Okay, let's do this. Okay. And let's go through the hustle, the suffering. Let's go. So I just switch it on. Like, okay, I'm leaving. So I left the place and I went back to the street again. Okay. That's where I went back to KFC. Okay. So while at KFC, normal routines, sit there and fight with mosquitoes at night and all those things.
You went back to the old place.
Yes, I went back to KFC again. There was moving around with my bag and everything. I had no money to go for a haircut, so my beards were out, and it was kind of surprising because my friends would see me and they wouldn't even ask questions like, "Hello, Uche, how are you?" I was like, "I'm fine," and I try to keep the smiling face, but I never asked. I've never seen you like this before. You've not shaved. Like my whole face my beard and my hair, everything was just coming. My hair grown and tattered.
That's like human nature.
And my face, my body was becoming dark because I was not taking care of myself and the sun and everything, because I had to keep walking around Hacho, Atome, just looking for something. I don't even know what I was doing. So no one even asked. And that just made me so angry and hated people because if I was the one and I know you to the essence, and there are some of them which I've ate their food, they had to cook food from their houses and bring to me, and I'll eat their food. And I was kind of person who like to check on people. How are you? I don't just ask them, how are you? I'm fine. No, that's not how I do, or that's not how I live I like to, dig in a little bit more. I just want to know you. Are you fine? Are you good? Some of them, when they were sick, I cared for them. I called them. I helped them in any way I can. Did their assignment. Now some of them I taught them, like this after school teacher. Like I was because my mates in during the nursing training, Wisconsin, were very mature. Most of them 30, 35. We had everyone was 40 years old, 28, 9, 20, really grown up, mature women we're like two guys in the
Guys in the
class. So we're like
class, okay.
close to 30 plus women in the class. So some of them we would form a group session and I would just teach them, and it was going well. We were a group of 3, myself, Mavis, Rita, and then people began to join. And one amazing thing was that we became like 5 or 6 or 7. But at the end of this session was a class called physiology. So during physiology was one of the tough course during that period. But I was good at physiology, so I would teach them. And the time came that it was a mid-sem, and during the mid-sem exams, even the dumbest, everyone, she was called Laurentia. She was considered as the dumbest in the class. She got 28 over 30, and I got 20 over 30. Some of them got 30 over 30.
Wow.
Some of them got good. So none got below 25.
Wow. So if you're just joining us, you're still watching the PEEVEE show's Moments of Truth right here on YouTube. Please subscribe to the PEEVEE show if you haven't. We are still talking to Uche Chukwu. He's a Nigerian, and he's sharing with us how he was able to pass through the hardship in Ghana. It's our heritage month as Ghanaians, but this is a Nigerian that is sharing with us how he was able to make it in life right here in Ghana, the things he had to go through, and how he's been able to get through it successful. This is just to tell us that no matter what you go through, if you are a Nigerian out there and things are really tough out there, you can still make it in life no matter what, because Uche went through it, and honestly I think he's really making it now. Yeah, so how did you get out of the streets, Uche?
I think it all began to turn out the day I nearly committed suicide.
You got to that stage?
Yes, it was tough for me, and I mean I had nothing else to live for.
Wow.
My vision of becoming a doctor wasn't going to work out. And my dad wasn't responding to me. I couldn't tell my siblings what was going on because they couldn't help. My mom, who happened to just pass away a couple of weeks ago.
May her soul rest in peace.
Yeah, thank you. She assisted in a bit, but I mean she sells bananas. I mean she doesn't have enough for herself, so I don't need to bother her. I just felt like at this point I had nothing else to live for. So I walked up Wisconsin. There was a block called Block A. Is it Block B or Block A? So I woke up to the 3rd floor. I think the 3rd floor, just very open. And so I walked up there and just placed my hand on the rails and just I'm taking this fresh air. And I think this whole idea of suicide just came in, and it's like a spirit. It just at that moment, I saw myself dead. So you don't feel like living. You don't feel like anything. You don't have anything to exist for. So you just know that you just want to end it. That's the only thing in your mind and the only thing in your head. So I was like, no, and ideas just came. There was a chair just right in front of me. So the plan was to step on that chair, then throw myself down. There's a tile paved down the ground floor. So I just land with my head. That was just ended. So I placed my first leg there. Was about to jump, and there's this wind came with force, like it just blew me back. So it blew me, and I just, like the thing left me. The thought just left me. I was like, what am I about to do? So I quickly ran downstairs. I was crying, like, God, you don't want me to die. Living, suffering. So what next? But I think at that moment, even though I didn't really I just decided to, like, okay, I want to trust God more. Because all this time, everyone has failed me. I just want to trust God more. So that turned in trust God mindset. So I just, okay, God, I'm no longer afraid of, like, I no longer am afraid of what's going to come in the future. I'm just going to trust you. If I have to spend the rest of my life in the street, no problem. I'm just going to trust you. So I just took that mindset on and I went there. So that's what triggered it. And I just went on like that. And I got myself engaged with some other places, found friends who were hustlers like myself. And I found some, there's a place just in front of Wisconsin. That's why it was a ghetto where boys just get in there and in the morning just go do one or two things. So that's why I was just patching for the meantime. And from there, I had someone who got in touch and I was like, I have a farm in Central Region, Gumwa Fete. I want you to manage the farm, a pig farm. And I was good at pig. We grow with training pigs. So I went to assist the man I was good at the whole thing, but the younger brother became jealous how
Oh.
good I was because all the money was coming through me.
Okay.
I would buy the feed, everything was just through me. So he, fought against me. So I stayed there for a short time, 3 months. I just didn't want to cause any trouble because I was Nigerian and they were Ghanaians. So I don't want to come between Ghanaian. So I left. I came back to the ghetto where I used to stay. And then my friend, a very good friend of mine, he's called Samuel, Nigerian as well.
Okay.
He worked at Wisconsin. He got me connected with another firm, a tech firm, that were into technology.
Okay.
So I worked it was a contract. The job was to do what they call data entry. Just upload stuff on the website and I'll pay you. So every upload was 1 CD. So,
yeah, wow.
Yeah, so that was the first time. So the first time I got like 100 CD all at once.
Oh, wow.
So I upload like 100 uploads with 100. So the first contract was 110.
Okay.
The second one was 550.
Okay.
So I did that in a short time. They thought they thought it would go for a long time, maybe 2, but I did it within 3 weeks. So they were like, this guy is good. We want to keep him. So they decided to keep me, and I continued doing other stuff with them. They would just buy me food, give me 5 CDs. So that was what I was just doing for some people, just to survive. You're like, oh, Rollins, wash my car, and wash my bike. I will.
That's humility.
Yes. I mean, I knew what I wanted.
Yeah.
It's okay. Let's go throw this away. Rubbish. I did bola. I did
Hey!
I did bola for like a couple of 2 to 3 months. I would watch my mates throw their stuff in the dustbin, and I'll take it. Like, hello, Rollins, how are you? Like, I'm fine. But I'm still doing my bar. So, see how people are. What is wrong with this guy? So I do all kinds of jobs. Menial jobs, plumber, medicine. Yes. I was a plumber. My friend was a plumber. I was his apprentice. And there was another guy in medicine. I was his apprentice. I did all kinds of jobs. Laborer, I did everything just to survive. But the turning point began when on the 3rd of August 2019. That day we had the National Congress, Campus Congress. We held it at the PEEVEE, Kumasi.
Yeah.
That day, so it started,
2019,
exactly. So it started, I think, on the 1st or so, or 28, 29 or something, 30th to 4th.
Okay.
So, just like, and that's one of the importance when you go to a campus or congress like this or a retreat, it's not very good. I don't really advise people to walk around or to gist or start moving up and down. It's time to just focus and just focus on God and try to get something. So the first 2 or 3 days, I never focused. I was just walking around with friends. I came with a couple of guys, so they hired me a hotel. So we slept together in the hotel, but I wasn't really focused. So the 3rd of August was the second to the last day. That 3rd was during testimony time, and people were giving testimony. And there was this guy. It got to this guy's turn. People, all kinds of testimony, And I was just there. My heart hadn't really broken.
Okay.
But what really made me move was this guy. He was an armed robber. He's killed people, done all kinds of things, stolen from people's houses, wounded some, and took a huge amount of money. He robbed with gun, not with just with gun. And he came to testify how he eventually did all this, and he came under the conviction. And then he repented, gave his life to Christ, then confessed to his mom and his pastor, and the 3 of them decided to go visit the nearest police station to report himself. So he went with the gun. They went to the police station, they reported him, and he said, I told him all the story on everything he did. He left nothing. Told them everything. And then he said, but I'm changed now. I'm a born again, and that's why I came. So if you want to lock me up, no problem. I'm more than happy. The police looked at him like, took the gun, they took it inside, and they just signed something. Your name, sign, you can go. That was it. I was like, what? That's it. I said, yes.
Wow.
We believe you, you're free, then go and serve Christ. A month later, he became a very powerful evangelist.
Wow.
And I looked at that story, and I just couldn't hold my tears. Even till now, it makes me cry, because all my life, I thought I was a born again.
Yeah.
I thought I was, a Christian, but no. And then I saw how dirty I was. I saw how misused, how unclean I was, and I just like nah. So there's a lady sitting on my left hand side. She saw my movement and she was looking at me, and I knew the tears were just gonna come. So I just couldn't hold it. It was so painful. If you try to hold it here, it's so painful.
Yeah.
I just had to let it out. I let it was like pouring out, and I had to rush out. Walked outside the hall, and then I went to this dark place outside the hall, and I looked up to heaven. There was no light. The light was far from there. I looked up to heaven and said, God, this is it. All my life I thought that I am a born again, I am your son, I'm your servant, but I see how unclean I am. Just like Peter went out, it just happened the same way. Like, no, Lord, this is it. This is it. I'm ready. I'm not going to be who I used to be, the hypocrite, that pretender. I've seen how clean I am. Please forgive me my sins. I'm sorry for what I've done in the past. Now I want to follow you. And that was it. When the moment I prayed that prayer from my heart, the tears stopped, and I felt like this whole load, this burden, everything, the anger I used to have, all those hatred just went away, and I felt so light. And that was the end. So I remember 3rd August 2019, that was the day I gave my life to Christ. And I came back from Brufio. Like the first 2 friends I had looked at me like, Rollins, you look different. Like, really? I knew something was going on. So I decided to follow God that day. For the rest of my life, I was very, very serious. I bought the Bible doctrine. I read everything. Every single day I would spend my time just reading the Bible and praying, just getting to know God. I had some besetting sins, but I just had to know more of God. And I did that. My life began to change. Things began to turn around bit by bit. But I was a man of vision. I was still struggling. I still had the mind to go back to school to become like a surgeon, like I told you. But after the death of my dad eventually died.
Oh.
Yes. So I didn't know those times he was sick.
Oh.
And he was unable to press the phone. So he was sick those times. So he died on the 15th of 15th May 2018. He died, and then I went
sorry
to
about that.
Yeah, I went home. So then my mom sent me money to come back home and bury him. I went home. I didn't bury him. I mean, we didn't have any money to bury him. So I returned. My dad spent total time, like he spent 1 year, 2.5 months in the mortuary because we didn't have money to bury him. No, his friends, nobody came around. Nobody came around.
Wow.
No uncles, none. We didn't have money myself. I mean, my mom didn't have anything. She's just a banana seller, and I didn't have anything myself. And that thing was part of the load that really weighed on me. My dad spent a total amount of time of 1 year, 2.5 months in the mortuary. Everything was just piling up. The bills were piling up. We went through stuff. Myself and my family, and my mom, who just passed away, she really helped us a bit. But during this time, I was almost going to tear up, like I was going to divide. I was not going to make it. And my mom would always, console us, just hold us together. Myself and my siblings, she would just pull us together. But by the grace of God, we moved on with life. And then 2019, towards the end of 2019, was when we had the COVID. COVID hit. When COVID hit, and I think God was like, I mean, people like to complain about COVID-19, but I'm happy it kind of happened because it was a turning point of my life. It was when I was always asking God, where I was working, I was not being paid. Like I said, it was just buy me food, buy me this, and then give me some pocket cash and anything. So I think that period, it was when God was like, I've always wanted to do something, to do a job where I have time for God, not job like a 5 to 9 or 8 to 9. That's what they call it.
Okay.
I wanted a job. I have my freedom and serve God and just do what I want to do. Especially Monday Bible study, go on time, and come to church every single day. No excuse.
Okay.
That was what I wanted. So when COVID hit, we were all asked to stay back home. I didn't have a house. Who am I? I didn't have a house, so stay home. I was gonna move to the street, but God being so good, I had a friend, a Nigerian friend. He's called Benjamin. Very, very good pal of mine. he took me in. He's like, come stay with me during this period.
Yes, so I now understand when they say your story is nothing until you hear another man's story. And actually, I had tears all over, but God knows best. Sometimes I say that God has reasons for allowing certain things to happen. If certain things doesn't happen, you won't see the breakthrough. Yes, so Uche, what happened next? Yeah.
So during that period, when my dad passed away and everything was just going AWOL, I mean, my heart, I was beginning to hold it. I was beginning to like, get control of things, but it was just like a gap. And because my dad wasn't buried during those times, so it was really tough on us. But when COVID hit, then he has been buried and everything.
Okay.
My mom eventually had to take almost all her money with the funeral, and the best money we could gather just to do the funeral and everything.
Okay.
So we just continued with life all over again. So during that COVID period, my friend Benjamin allowed me to stay with him.
Okay.
And I didn't have anything as well. So there's this, I had a friend, Mavis, my friend,
Okay.
I talked about earlier.
Yeah.
She's a member of a church called Maker's House.
Okay.
And the Maker's House, they were sharing, they were helping people during that period. Food stuff with COVID-19 kits and everything.
Yeah.
So so I didn't have nothing. So I had to tell her, please, you have to tell them I need something. So they were taking people's numbers, so they took my number and everything, called me like on such day, they asked for your location, I will bring you something. So I was very, very happy they were going to come. So well, around the 5th day of staying with him, they called me on the phone that they were around. So I rushed out to meet them. Very good people. I looked at them, they say, God bless you, max up, remember to max up. This is your COVID-19 kits and food stuff, rice and groundnut oil and tomatoes and everything, like yam. I was very happy. Like, at least this could take me for some weeks or something till God knows, So I took that and I went back home. And another brother I had, Brother Walanyo, Dolis, Donus Walanyo, he was very good. He was sending me 50 CDs every week.
Wow.
So all those time we spent, about 4 weeks we stayed at home, right? Every week he was sending me 50 CDs. So, but during that period was when I was asking, so God, what next? That was when it just came very openly. So before that time, there was this family who wanted to move from Nigeria to Ghana.
Okay.
And we're looking for a trusted someone to just help them move, find them a house and all those things. So my friend Samuel connected me to them, like, hey, this guy's a good guy, so use him. So the man, her husband flew from Nigeria to Ghana just for the house. So we met that morning, and then I went with him to search for house to stay. So we called. That was the first time I'm ever involved in searching for a house and all those things. So I mean, normally you go to Gigi then and search for a place or turn it, and so I would just call some few agents and. But I mean, it was very unfortunate that what we went through eventually was very sad. He was to stay about 2 days. That was the time for his flight, but he overstayed, and he had to cancel the flight and everything, so to extend for the 3rd day. So we went through with about 3 to 4 agents before we finally found the place. Okay. And even the agents were so naughty.
Of course, they'll take your money.
Exactly.
Even they do it with the Ghanaians.
So he came around. They're like, "Oh, there's this viewing. We take a viewing fee. He said, how much viewing? Say 50 cities. The man said, I said, oh no, I mean, can't take 20. The man gave them. So we just like sort them one way or another, because we know that's a way of ripping people off. But we thought we found the place in the 3rd day. But they didn't know that we were Nigerians. Okay. So the landlord eventually found. So I told the landlord that, look, we're Nigerians. He's like, what? You're Nigerians? No. But I was speaking Tree, and you understood what I said, right? Because I could understand a little bit of Tree. But I said, yes, I do understand a little bit of Tree, but it's just that they are Nigerian and the wife is a student of Wisconsin. They were like, no, we don't accept Nigeria.
Hey.
Yeah, they don't accept.
They don't want Nigerian
So
in the house.
before I told the agent, did you tell them we're Nigerian? The agent said no. There's no need. I said tell them because we don't want trouble in the future.
Yeah.
So the agent was like no, just lie. Let's take the money. Just lie. He wanted me to lie that
Ghanaians.
just keep my mouth shut, and then later on when they find out that they're Nigerian, then trouble comes up. So I said no, I'm not going to do that. So so when the guy moved out and was like, yo, we're Nigerians, I hope that's not a problem. Like, what? You're Nigerians? And they go, you didn't tell me they're Nigerians. So we had to, they had to, they refused to give us the place, so we had to move. So we moved to another place. We had to start over again to search. We found this agent who we thought looked a little bit more professional because he belonged to a company, and when we saw him, he had this
tag.
He had this his shirt with the
company
customized, custom company. Like, oh, finally, someone who knows his job. So he came with a bike, and then we moved, and then we met him, and we were like, okay, there's this place. He took us to a nice place. It was very expensive. I didn't know. I mean, nowhere in my world
Will you go and buy
would I ever rent a place like that. So expensive, 1,500 a month.
Oh no.
For a 2-bed.
Oh no.
So it was so expensive. The man, for
a month.
A month, yeah.
Okay, actually, some people will pay actually.
So we moved to a different place, and then so he remembered that okay, I have there's a Nigerian man who had about 2 houses.
Okay.
So let's go to him. So we went there. He was worse. He was renting his for 1,500 for 2 years. For 2 years, not even a year. For 2 years.
For 2 years.
Yes, but the house was good. But he was rented 4,500 for 2 years. Then the man said no, it was too much. But the man said, I know a woman who just finished building a house, a 3-bedroom apartment just up there. Let me take you there. So we went there and we saw the 3-bed. It was so nice. Just like God answered my prayers. Eventually we came to a last stop.
Yes, so I just want to find out before we end the conversation, are you going back to school?
No.
Oh, really? You won't do it again?
No way.
Okay, you love what you are doing now.
Yeah, I love. If I'm going back to school, definitely is to. I take time to time. I take courses in real estate.
Okay.
So, possibly to advance my real estate career.
Okay.
But except maybe God says, okay, you can go back. But I'm not going back to
All
school.
right, that's fine. A message to street people. I mean, those living on the streets. Yeah, because of some 1 or 2 challenges. Just a short message to them.
Living in the street doesn't have to define you. You don't have to define. You don't have to. I used to, say, okay, I live in the street, so I have this definition that like, I'm one of the street guys. But no, that shouldn't define you. Rather, it should be like a stepping stone. Okay. You don't have to be in the street forever. Just do something about it. One thing I see a lot of people who live in the street do is they just get comfortable with the situation. You don't want to push yourself. Yeah. You don't want to get out of that comfort zone. But I want you to just go all in. Turn the mindset on. Game on. You have to do it. Otherwise, you'll still be in the same place. But if you're really willing to make a change, to better your life, you definitely can. So just get off that comfort zone and go out there and make it.
Wow. Thank you so much for joining us, Uche.
It's okay.
Yeah, so thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us on this week's episode of the PEEVEE Show's Moments of Truth. It was a wonderful time we had with Uche. This is our first episode on the genesis of the great. Yes, and he's our first guest on this particular program. If you haven't subscribed to the PEEVEE Show, kindly make sure you click on the subscription button to subscribe to the PEEVEE Show. To all people living out there, especially people living on the streets, students struggling with 1 or 2 things when it seems like all hope is lost, remember that there is a purpose for what you are going through. There is a reason for everything you go through, and you don't have to give up. Just keep pushing. Definitely you'll get through it, just like how Uche got through it, living on the streets of Ghana for so many months, at least let me say 6 months or 7 months, and today he's having his own company and he's making his own money. No one really thought he would get up. I'm sure at a point in time he never even thought he will get out from that situation and get to where he is today. So keep trying, keep pushing, and you will become what God has actually destined you to become. Stay blessed, and remember to wash your hand with soap and the running water, use your nose masks, and stay safe.